Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you. It's 10 o'clock exactly, 24th of February, and you're listening to me, Shamiza, on Where Else? On Inspire FM 105.1 FM. We are going live and direct across Luton surrounding areas, Peterborough Salam Radio, and Sheffield's Link FM. It's an absolute pleasure to be in your company this morning, and the weather is looking quite pleasant outside. I don't know if you noticed across the weekend, it was a little bit warm. I hope you had a great weekend and your preparations for Ramadan are going smoothly. Yes, it's just a week away to Ramadan. The blessed, beautiful month of Ramadan is so close to us now. It's amazing, the atmosphere in Inspire FM at the moment. We are preparing some great shows for you guys, which we're going to be talking to you very shortly about. This is going to be my final show for on the Urban Cube. I will be back after Ramadan. I am going to be busy doing some great projects with Inspire FM, which I'm going to be sharing with you. My guest in the studio today is actually part of one of the projects that we're getting ready just for you guys on Inspire FM. So we're going to be finding out what that is as well. Now, as always, you can catch the conversation not only live on the radio, but also Inspire FM. You get an opportunity to see who is in the studio, and they are waving to the camera. The camera is here. Somebody that a lot of us in Luton are very familiar with. He is a local entrepreneur and also the trustee of the Luton Food Bank. And we're going to be talking to him about an exclusive. He's giving us an exclusive today about a fantastic initiative that he is creating. It's a challenge that him and many very notable individuals across Luton are going to be getting involved in, and they're going to be raising some very much needed funds for the Luton Food Bank. And I am joined by Bilal Hussain this morning. Assalamu alaikum, Bilal.
Wa alaikum salam, Shamiza. How are you, sister?
I'm very well. Thank you so much, Bilal, for taking time out of your very, very busy schedule. As always, it's always a pleasure to have you in the studio, sharing with us some of these exciting challenges that you do, which never stop. They never stop. These challenges continue to keep us all engaged and inspired. And also, mashallah, the challenges that you do really make a huge difference to many people who are local and also national to us. Now, the last challenge we spoke about was you running, wasn't it, across Ramadan?
Yes.
Yeah, you were doing 5K every day.
Yep.
This one, you're actually not running, but you're going to be sleeping out for 24 hours.
Yes. So last year was an incredible month. I mean, it was the most memorable Ramadan I can probably ever think of in my lifetime, purely because of the community getting behind me. It was just, I never expected it. I just thought, that we had a lack of food at the food bank. There was a massive shortage. Times are really hard, and I truly am grateful for all the listeners of Inspire and the community who support the food bank, because it's really tough out there. But we get so much support. And last year, I had a fundraising target. I thought, speaking to Salma at the food bank, look, maybe get a grand, I'll do 5K every day. Ended up raising 20,000.
Wow.
It went in the 3 counties anyway. It went pretty viral. The videos were going off, everywhere. So, and that 20,000 allowed the food bank to give out. It was something silly, like over 1,000 food parcels.
Wow.
So you can imagine it was an incredible effort by the community. And obviously, when you do something like that, people ask, don't they? Oh, what's next? What are you doing this year? What are you doing this year? And I thought about it, and I thought I could run 10K every day. And they're like, yes. It's a bit boring, isn't it? It's like Billy again. Billy No Mates running around by himself doing 10K every day.
Come on, you weren't Billy No Mates though, were you?
At that time I wasn't.
You
I think
were?
I would have been this year. Last year I wasn't, but this year I was just like, I can't do that. And then I thought, well, it'd be really, really good if we could raise more awareness about the problems and try and get more of the community involved. So I decided that what we will do is we will do a 24-hour sleep out. So the concept is we'll be from iftar to iftar, we'll be sleeping out in the rough. Um, you're not going to bring anything special from home. The only thing you're going to have is a sleeping bag. And we've also told the boys, there's 10 of us getting involved.
Mhm.
They're not allowed to purchase these. They have to borrow them.
Right.
So they have to
Okay.
make the effort to go out and borrow these from people they know if they don't have a sleeping bag. So you can't.
Why?
Because I think it's part of the effort. It's part because
Okay.
look, if you think about it, not everybody has the luxury to go out and spend £100 on a sleeping bag, and I think it's a waste of resources.
Okay.
So I think, guys, let's a bit of effort. You're going to borrow one. You can get it cleaned, or the rest of it. We all have a sleeping bag. The spot we've picked is the town centre, which, to be honest, we had a bit of discussion about as well, because what we didn't want to do, remember, we're raising awareness, and that's an important part of it. But what we didn't want to do is make people feel who are homeless or living in poverty, making them feel like we're almost like taking the mick out of them. And I didn't want it to come across like that. So really, really conscious about and aware,
Being sensitive.
to people's issues. However, we thought that's a really good space to do it,
Mhm.
and it'll be impactful. So we'll be only eating from food parcels. So that's what we can eat. We can only eat whatever. So each person will be given a food parcel for the 24-hour period. It will be a pure pick and mix. Paul from the Luton Food Bank warehouse will be picking those items. We will be covering the cost of those items. So we won't be taking them as a luxury. The cost of those items will be covered by
Okay.
us. We all have our individual fundraising targets as well. But say, for example, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday who's taking part. I won't give his name. And he said, I met him yesterday, and he said to me, I can't live without coffee. I go, well, if you don't have a coffee sachet in your food parcel, then you're going to have to deal with it, mate, because that's all you've got. And if the friends you're with, are nice enough to give you their coffee sachet, then you'll have to do a bit of bartering. So literally, you have a food parcel, and you got to live off that. So on day one, the idea is we break fast together. We will be reading Taraweeh on site, so we won't be moving from where we are. We will be sleeping rough. We are trying, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but we are trying to get a live stream via Inspire FM. So you'll be able to watch us, and we can do that. Is that good?
Of course, we're going to do
Okay,
that.
good.
Why are we not going to do that?
Okay.
Of course, we're going
So
to
we're going to
do
live
that.
stream it so you can watch us
Fantastic.
throughout the 24-hour period. The next day, Sahari, again, we wake up, we prepare our own whatever we have. And then during that Saturday, we'll be going out doing voluntary activities.
Mashallah.
For example, picking up litter. I know that's one of the things we will be doing. And there'll be surprises throughout the day on the Saturday. Then we come back and break our fast again. With the food parcel, we pack up and we are done. So that's the idea.
Wow.
It's pretty challenging. It doesn't sound like it, but if you can imagine, nobody's allowed to bring any luxuries from home. Zero. Not even water. And I made that clear. No chewing gum. Nothing.
So
Zero.
You're pulling it back to basics.
Absolutely.
Do we know what day this is going to be?
So this will be on. That's a good point, actually. From iftar on Friday the 7th of March.
Okay, Friday the 7th of March, people.
Till Saturday the 8th of March. Iftar Saturday the 8th of March. The only luxury they can bring will be a bit of toothpaste and a toothbrush.
Okay, all right.
Literally,
I'm glad you've been generous
Yes,
and allowed that.
Yes.
So is everybody going to be patted down? Is there going to be a bit of a security check to check anything in pockets?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, 100%. And I've made it categorically clear to the lads. I said, listen, I don't want any of that. Nothing. Zero. It's got to be pure basics.
Do you know what? This sounds absolutely exciting.
Because I look, Shmaiza, I was told I was being really harsh. Because I was going through the food parcels as well. Of course. With Paul and Salma. And they were adding a lot of stuff. And I thought, they don't need, I can't mention I don't want it because it gives away what they're going to get. But you can't have 3 sachets of that. They only need 1.
Okay.
So those kind of things.
So the reason why you're doing this
Yep.
is because you want people to or your team
Yep.
to actually understand the reality that this is for so many people, because homelessness and rough sleeping is really quite a common thing we're seeing, unfortunately, across the country and in particular in Luton.
Yep.
And that also affects quality of life, mental health, prospects for the future, and also diet too, because
Absolutely.
trying to find nutritional accessible food is for some people not easy, and there does seem to be a growing case of working poor.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's stories across the country of people who are in full-time employment and are still sleeping rough,
Of course.
and are sleeping homeless, because I mean, we talk about nutritional food, but if you go to the supermarkets, nutritional food is all at a premium.
It is at a premium.
It's not the cheap. It's never the cheap stuff, is it? So, it's a real problem, and I think raising awareness, and especially the individuals who are signed up to do this with us, they're all prominent people that everybody will know.
Okay. Are you allowed to throw any names?
Should I throw a few?
Go on then, go for it.
Mr. No Comment, Atiq Malik.
Okay, interesting.
Right? So he's involved. I think he's back I'm hoping he's back from holiday, because he's
okay.
on holiday.
So he's coming back from his holiday.
Absolutely.
And then so he's obviously sun, sea,
sand, all
a bit of like luxury out there, and then he's going to be bang in St. George's Square.
Absolutely.
With none of the fancy stuff.
But it also, the thing is about all these individuals, one thing I think is really important to say, I have admired them and I respect them a lot, because all it took was one phone call and they all said yes.
Mashallah.
And that's really as beautiful.
But Billy, you don't do anything small, do you? When you go in like
going hard.
Yeah,
going
totally.
hard.
And mashallah, what we've noticed about you is your humility, your commitment, and your consistency. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And when you start a task, you complete it. And mashallah, last year was proof in the pudding.
Yes.
You called yourself Billy No Mates with your woolly socks and your woolly hat, and you went out and did your 5K per day, thinking that nobody is going to take notice. And mashallah, you only wanted to raise £1,000. You exceeded that.
Yeah, 20-fold. It was crazy. Yeah.
£20,000 was raised, and what was beautiful was the camaraderie, the community, and you kept everybody connected with your story. And I think this is another beautiful thing with this challenge, because the reality of our community is the fact that there is lots of individuals who are struggling silently behind closed doors, who are working poor, food poverty, and also struggling with the fear of not knowing where they're going to live, where their next home could potentially be because of the increase in rent prices. That means that people are unfortunately not able to pay, and they're being kind of like turfed out of their homes.
Utility bills are ridiculously expensive, and they're going up.
Indeed.
So it's so hard out there. And can I mention a few more names? Now
of course you can.
So we've got Atiq Malik, which I mentioned. Sufyan Sadiq, everyone knows this again. Nasser Farid from Optimized Body and Mind.
All right.
And one really important gentleman who joined us in the studio right now.
Oh my gosh! Come on, let's give him
the infamous Mohammed Tariq.
Mashallah.
Brother Tariq.
Mashallah. And,
Brother Tariq will be joining us.
That's amazing. Brother Tariq's looking over and goes, press the right button. His job never ceases. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Tariq.
Welcome, salam. How are you guys?
I'm very well. How are you this morning? I hear you're going to be doing a challenge.
Yeah, to be honest,
another one.
I was thinking I'll be tired next Monday when, of course, the Ramadan is there, and then the Sari show and the Rise and Shine show. Feeling extremely tired today. Had a long weekend already. The work never stops. So yesterday I was actually trying to get an interview with Maulana Tariq Jamil, and didn't happen till 1 a.m. So got home quite late. But yeah, challenge-wise, to be honest, I do try to stay away from challenges, in particular when it's Ramadan, because as everyone can imagine, Ramadan is extremely busy at the station. But when Billy said it's going to be from iftari to iftari and it's a weekend challenge, I thought maybe, obviously, hopefully work won't be impacted, so we can do it. But to be honest, my whole thing in this is, I think the only blessing in this is, alhamdulillah, which I think has worked out quite well. What was really scary for me would have been if it was a weekend challenge. And I'm not putting thoughts in your head. Make sure you don't do that, because everybody, including myself, will need that Sunday to recover, to get back to work on Monday, because losing time in Ramadan is not going to be possible. Obviously, you've got the ibadah, you've got everything else. So alhamdulillah, 24-hour challenge, Friday evening to Saturday, I think sounds good. And I think the activities, alhamdulillah, they've got planned is amazing. But one call out I want to do before anybody else gets out there is, I need a sleeping bag. So if there's anybody out there, and the problem I've got is, I probably need a double XL sleeping bag.
He's a big fella. So that's what we're going to do, guys. Our team, these brilliant brothers, notable community activists in our community, mashallah, coming together. You've heard their names. You can actually see who's in the studio right now, and you can hear them. It's brother Tariq and also it's brother Bilal. They are asking you guys if you have any spare items to help ease their challenge. That is sleeping bags. It could be, I don't know, a lamp. It could be cooking facilities.
They can't have
No,
lamps.
they can't have that.
What are they going to do with lamps? No,
I
they
don't
can't have
know. I'm
lamps.
just like,
Why do you need
There's
a
no
lamp?
electricity.
Torch.
Yeah, you're having
okay,
lamp.
torch.
You can have
Torch could help, I
a
guess.
Torch,
potentially, yeah, but you can't have lamps.
No
Come on,
lamp?
no.
Okay.
Actually, what would be really good, it takes me back to my camping days, because we'll have a marquee there. We used to have this like a battery kind of light you could attach to the
Hold
roof.
up, you're gonna have a marquee.
We'll have
You're gonna
marquees.
sleeping under the marquee.
No,
you
no,
can't do that.
No, hold on.
Okay.
Just to be clear, the marquee.
Look at his face.
Barish.
the marquee it's not going to be closed off or anything. It's literally, if you can imagine, a canopy, right? That's all it's going to be, and that's purely because, and the only reason we're doing that is because it was a safety thing.
Okay.
That's the only reason. There's no other reason, and there was lots of potential issues with that. So it's not a marquee, a pretty marquee that's
like a
gonna look great.
gazebo with
Yeah,
like
yeah.
5-star.
Yeah, nothing like that. Nothing like that.
We will have
It's
carpet though, right?
a carpet. You're not getting a carpet. You're sleeping rough, Tariq. You're sleeping on the concrete slabs, right?
Can somebody sponsor me a mat as well as a sleeping bag, please?
Oh wow.
So originally, I wanted to do this for 30
Okay.
days.
Mhm.
That was
30
my original
You're
plan.
gonna sleep rough for 30
That's
days.
the original plan. But I
Subhanallah.
got shot down by the missus straight away.
Okay.
And they were like, listen, like, I understand. I never say no to any of your challenges, but that's just stupid because
Okay.
we have Tarawih and all the rest of it for the boys and blah, blah, blah. But if we're going to do it for 24 hours, we can't have these luxuries, can we, Shumaiza? It's not fair.
No, it
Right,
makes a lot of
Tariq?
sense. That's why I just
All
thought,
right,
why
Tariq,
would
none
you
of this.
have...
So I was with Sufyan yesterday. He was
Uh-huh.
demanding, like,
I got
can
a-
I have
I got a-
X, Y, and Z?
I got a 5-minute voice note yesterday, so
From who?
from Sufyan. So I'm aware of the conversation you had. But I think the other thing, which will be just an extra challenge for me, we'll be doing the live series show at 3 o'clock or possibly around about 3:30 in the morning on that Saturday, live from St. George's Square.
MashaAllah.
Wow.
How? I don't know.
We'll
We
get
haven't
it
got
done.
electricity, we haven't got any internet.
Do you know
Get it
this
done.
I might have to
sound?
shout. So I
This
don't know.
Get
is
it done.
absolutely phenomenal, guys. You're hearing it on Inspire FM on the Urban Cube show today. It's an exclusive. You are listening to two of the individuals and the person behind this fabulous challenge, Bilal Hussain, talking about the 24-hour sleep out in St. George's Square on Friday the 7th up to 8th of March. These brothers, there's I think about 10 of them.
It's 10 of us.
10 notable figures of the community coming from all sectors of society to come together united to do this extraordinary challenge. Now, this challenge is Sleeping Rough, and the whole purpose is to raise much needed funds for the Luton Food Bank. Now, as we are aware, the living cost crisis is impacting drastically people's lives. And we're seeing an increase in working poor. This term I didn't know existed, and now I'm getting more and more familiar with it, which is basically people who are just not on benefits, but who are working and are struggling to basically feed themselves, choosing between paying the bills or feeding, or heating or eating. It's a very, very difficult time. Now, across Ramadan, this is a chance for many of us to kind of, not only feed our our souls, but also take stock of the reality of those around us in our community, because poverty is not just in the third world. Poverty is in our community. And one thing Inspire FM has proudly done is kind of inspire people to be connected and to have awareness and knowledge of the issues that our own communities are facing. Now, Brother Bilal, he's a local entrepreneur. He's a trustee of the food bank and various other fabulous organizations. He's somebody that is not just doesn't just talk, he walks the walk. And he actually ran across 5Ks per day in Ramadan last year for the Luton Food Bank. And mashallah, this year, he's not on his own. He's got a team of buddies that you've literally grown up with, right?
Yeah. A few of them. Yeah.
You've grown up with them.
Yeah. I've known them since they were a long time. Most of them. I've been in this town my whole life, right? I spent a few years out when I was studying, but this town, Luton, I'm very passionate about, as you know. And I'm always, shouting and screaming about how great Luton is to everyone I see, work-wise and in the corporate world and all the rest of it. So, I want to add something you mentioned earlier about, how people are struggling. And this, something that I experienced last year when I was doing the 30-day challenge is, as a trustee, I don't get to do this enough. But I actually got out and saw some of the work that the food bank do. So some of the distributions. And I went to a particular distribution, and I remember in the queue to collect a food parcel was a junior nurse and a police constable.
SubhanAllah.
And you think, these people, their jobs are to protect us on a daily basis, whether it be, to keep us healthy or to protect us from, crime or whatever else it may be. And I thought, subhanAllah, we have people like that who are on food parcel. And I got to speak to the police constable, and he goes, look, I was living with love. I had a house and a car and family, blah, blah, blah. He lost his job. The wife also lost her job. They, unfortunately separated. He then managed to get into the police force, but he's obviously quite low down in the pecking order, and he's struggling. And it was so sad to see. And that really hit me. And I thought, if it's people like them who are struggling, it's really important that we raise awareness more than anything about the struggles of people. Is that for me, that bell? What is that?
No, that's not the bell for you. It's in the studio.
Oh, okay,
bless
sorry.
you. That is really remarkable, and it's kind of quite poignant what you've just shared there, Bilal, because the reality is that there are lots of very normal people, everyday people. Anybody can be impacted by this. You could be working in a cushy job in the corporate world, and then anything could happen in your life, and then you could be reliant on the food bank. So it doesn't discriminate. And the beautiful thing here is the fact that you are a trustee who's proactive, who's out there, who's not just sitting at a table and carrying your role. You're actually
Atik and Sufyan are also trustees, by the way.
Oh, of the food bank?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's great to know. I wasn't aware of that. So your trustees are actually going above and beyond their role to get out there, to get engaged, to find out what's going on, because it's happening in front of us. It's absolutely saddening to see that, we're seeing more and more people rough sleeping. We're seeing a lot more homelessness. The situation with the increasing of rents is putting people on the streets. And this is what makes this challenge even more extraordinary, is the fact that you're not just raising money for the food bank, but you're also raising awareness of the impact homelessness has on people. So it's kind of ticking lots of areas, and I'm hoping that this message will go out loud and clear. We've got some very notable, significant brothers you've heard their names across Inspire FM. You've seen their work in action. they're all coming together united. It's interesting because I saw some of the pictures on the Inspire FM board, and the brothers that you mentioned were on the board. So when we first began on this photo display, and so we are really delighted to be kind of following this journey that you're doing, inshallah, on the streaming of on Inspire FM. We are heading to a break, Bilal, but I do hope you'll join us after the break, because we're going to be joined by another fantastic guest, a volunteer for Phobe and Dean Ability, and they recently did this wonderful Ramadan project for children with sensory needs, and that's another project I know that is very close to your heart and making a difference.
Saturday.
Amazing! So you can tell us a little bit more about that. Today's show is all about lifting barriers, making us more aware of how Ramadan can kind of raise awareness of communities that are actually not supported fully or understood. So I'm heading to a break, inshallah. Do not go away, people. Do join us to listen more to Bilal and also Sister Sadia Hussain. Assalamu alaikum.
This program will continue after the break. Continue listening to Inspire FM. Inspire FM.
Inspire 105.1 FM.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته وبسم الله. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم طوبى لمن وجد في صحيفته استغفارا كثيرا. That glad tidings are for the one who finds in his book of deeds a great amount of istighfar.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Throughout the holy month of Ramadan, more people than ever will be tuned in to Inspire FM. So there's never been a better time to advertise, to let people know about your products and services. Radio advertising is effective and affordable, and a great way to help support your community radio station too. For details, call 01582 481810 or find Inspire FM online and across social media. Why do Tops Pizza deliver the top pizzas in Luton and Dunstable?
For a start, all the toppings are 100% halal, and Tops use fresh dough every day. Then there's the cheese, the highest quality available. And when it comes to food preparation, cleanliness is taken as part of our faith. So that just leaves the taste, choice, and great offers, including buy one, get one free on all medium, large, and extra large pizzas. Tops Pizzas, Wellington Street, LU1 5AA. Order online, topspizza.com or via Just Eat. Download our app or call 01582 72 5000.
For expert legal advice and support, talk with Luton's leading solicitors, Hannah Solicitors. We specialise in conveyancing, wills and probate, family law, immigration and personal injury, legal matters that matter to you. Our experienced legal team are here to help you through every step of the way. Call 01582 329 069. That's 01582 329 069, or click on hannahsolicitors.co.uk. Hannah Solicitors, professional advice with a tailored approach. When looking for halal Indian and Bangladeshi fine dining, look no further than the new and modern Tamarind Restaurant in Luton, on Marsh Road in the heart of Leagrave. Tamarind Restaurant's the perfect place for small gatherings and family events, with nearby parking available too. Or enjoy free home delivery within a 5-mile radius. Open every day. Call 01582 563636 to book a table or order delivery, or view online at tamarindluton.co.uk.
Biscard Pharmacy, your one-stop health and beauty pharmacy in Luton, stockist of over 8,000 health and beauty products. At Biscard Pharmacy, we offer a range of services, including health advice and repeat prescriptions for collection and delivery to your home. We also offer a Hajj and Umrah vaccination. Come in and see us and ask about our Stop Smoking service. We're open 7 days a week till late, including bank holidays. Biscard Pharmacy, 157A Biscard Road, Luton. Call 457709.
Every day, millions of people face life-threatening challenges. War, disaster, hunger. The need for your support has never been greater. At Action for Humanity, we believe in the power of compassion. Around the globe, we provide life-saving aid and long-term support to communities in crisis. Already, you've empowered us to reach 15 million people since 2011. Visit actionforhumanity.org or call us on 0161 860 0163 today.
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 10:30.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Cube with Sister Shamiza.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you. It's 10:30, 24th of February, and you're listening to me, Shamiza, taking you all the way up to 11 o'clock. And where else is the Urban Cube Show? This is the second half of the show, and it's an absolute pleasure to be in your company this morning. We are going out to the wonderful people, Luton surrounding areas, Peterborough Salam Radio, and Sheffield's Link FM. I hope you're well, warm, and winning wherever you're listening in from. Now, today is a very special show because it's the last one before Ramadan. Ramadan is just a week away, and I'm not going to go anywhere far. I'm still going to be on Inspire FM. We're going to be working on some great projects, which are all Ramadan related. But today's show is a show which is very close to my heart because it's exploring very important issues that are very prevalent in our community. And my wonderful guests here are actually making a huge difference in creating change for not only for themselves but those around them. Now, you may have heard earlier on I was speaking to no other than Bilal Hussain. Yes, Bilal Hussain. He's a regular on my show. He's a friend to the show, mashallah, and he's somebody that you are all very familiar with. He did join me this time, well, I think it was last year, and he was talking to us about a challenge which he did, which was running 5K every day across Ramadan. And his target was to raise £1,000, but mashallah went on and raised £20,000. And it didn't stop there. He's got his thinking cap on again. And today he's doing talking to us exclusively about another challenge. Now, this challenge is a 24-hour sleep out with some wonderful brothers. And they're going to be sleeping out in St. George's Square on Friday the 7th to the 8th of March, and 24 hours, no luxuries, just the basics. And they'll be eating from food packs that have been given to them from Luton Food Bank. And the whole purpose of this challenge is to raise very much needed funds for the Luton Food Bank, mashallah, because it's a charity that I think does need our support, and it is making a huge difference. Brother Bilal is in the studio. He's going to be leaving very shortly because he's got a lot going on. And we're also, he's going to talk to me very, very shortly. And I'm also joined by another tremendous guest. Her name is Sadia Hussain. Now, Sadia Hussain is a volunteer at Friends of Bright Eyes, and she was part of a recent special needs interactive Ramadan event that was held at Deen Ability, another beautiful charity, which Bilal, you know a lot about. Firstly, I want to say Assalamu alaikum, Sister Sadia.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Tell me what your journey was like getting here this morning. Let's hear your story.
Oh, bless you. So I do a long school run out of Borough. So with the rain this morning, a little bit slow, but we get there. So I was like, can I make it in time? I was like, no, I put my foot down and we're here. Alhamdulillah.
Mashallah, safely. Now, you do this particular school run. Why?
So for my son, he has complex needs, and it was about choosing the place where he'd be most happy and where his needs would be met, and just make sure like he gets all the relevant therapies and interventions. So it's a big decision when you think about schools, and that one stood out to me the most.
Mashallah. And at the weekend, you were part of a very exciting event.
Yes.
Whenever I mention Phobe and Deen Ability, Bilal's face just lights up. It was a special sensory event,
Yes.
which was an interactive Ramadan for children with sensory issues and learning disabilities. And this was held with the support of Friends of Bright Eyes. Now, I believe Bilal was there on Saturday too, so he'll talk to me about his experience. But tell me about this. It sounds amazing.
It is, and to be honest with you, this is like the third or fourth thing that Deen Ability have done for children with special needs in our community, and this one had the focus around Ramadan, and it was really nice. The thing is, what we have to realize is that there's so much change in a family for regular families during Ramadan, and to help our children access that, special needs children access that you have to do that in a different way, and it was really set out in the way that it's done through looking at the world from their view. So everything had that in mind, and I love to speak about, the different activities that were put out for the children.
I love this. I love how inclusive it is. Ramadan or, Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr should not exclude, but include, and we need to make it inclusive. And how do we do that? By activities like that. Think out of the box, engage our children who do have sensory issues, find ways of doing that. Now, Bilal, you were at the event. Tell me, how was it?
It was great. So me and the sister's little boy, we were jumping on the trampoline together. so it was me, myself, and a brother called Z, which I know some of my listeners would know. So he got us on the trampoline, so we were on the trampoline with him. It's a fantastic event, and what's important, and you said it right there, is connecting children with sensory issues to Ramadan and to the both Eids, and the activities that we had going on there were superb, and at least 2 parents commented on how important it was that Dean Ability and Phobe just understood the requirement.
They got it.
Yeah, they absolutely got
They got it.
And it was a really nice event. It was really lovely to see. So.
Oh, wonderful. And that's what it's about, isn't it? It's collaborating, connecting, and getting to the heart of the matter. And if you are a parent that has children, I mean, even as a parent with able children, I struggle myself to kind of make activities and engage them with the Dean. And to be a parent that has children that has the disability, gosh, the pressure of that, it must be heart-wrenching. But then when you have Dean Ability and Friends of Bright Eyes combining and understanding, and you're surrounded by other mothers and fathers, what's that experience like for you?
I mean, it's really nice. I mean, I brought my younger son along as well, because I thought, you want to bring, I had to bring them separately so they could both access it like in the right way. And the feeling is that those aren't easy things to describe. And like when they're able to understand or see something. So my younger son said, "Oh, we were doing a treasure hunt." He goes, "What's the odd nights about?" Later on, that was a topic that we picked up at home. And I said, "Actually, these are like, in the last 10 nights, the odd nights are special. And you can ask Allah for anything during that." And he was like, completely blown away, and you just open up something for children through these experiences. And as a parent, we can't do that alone. We're already dealing with so much, whether that's eating issues, sleeping issues,
So it's not,
all the
it doesn't become a
life.
priority, does it? It becomes, it's just another thing we have to get through. But the fact that somebody else can take that and make it happen for them, gosh, that feeling must be so liberating for you.
It is. It means a great deal. The thing is that, like I said to you, it's not possible with the challenges that we have on a daily basis. And when you have some support in that area, when it's central to you and you want to be able to help your children navigate. So like Ramadan, like I said, everything changes. So providing that information to your child gives them an opportunity to take away their anxieties, for them to feel part of, it's a really important mix. Otherwise you're struggling, your child is struggling if they don't know what's going on.
Indeed. And as a father of 2 bubbly, bright children, boys who are growing up so fast, mashallah, as a parent, when you experience what you see other parents who have those barriers at Friends of Bright Eyes, how does it make you feel?
No, it's so I lost a sibling to a disability, as you know. So I grew up with a younger brother who was disabled, and the services back then, and in fact I spoke to one of the fathers about this on Saturday. The services back then, even though we had a lack of awareness, in the community, and there were a lack of services like Phobe and Dean Ability and others, the services by social services were actually quite strong. Because I remember, and I even remember her name. I won't mention it now, but she used to come on a weekly basis to see my brother, see my mum. How are you getting on? Yeah. Do you guys need anything? And the services were incredible. I was a little kid, so I used to go everywhere with Hussain. So all these sort of play schemes, like during the summer, I'd go along as a sibling. So we spoke about lack of services in the first part of the show. It's across all sectors. So when I look at the parents now and some of the struggles they face, and I think, where are our social services? So it is such a blessing. So when we're doing, I don't know, Kilimanjaro or the National 3 Peaks to try and raise money for Phobe, there's a real real impact it has, because there are no social services,
Of course,
unfortunately.
of course.
And when us, and I'm sure the sister here will tell you much more about it because she's living it at the moment. But for me, is it's frustrating, but also heartbreaking, because I think, do you know what? I just, there's so much that we can give to these kids. There's so much, and we need the resource and the manpower and centers like Friends of Bright Eyes and initiatives like Deen Ability to make it happen.
And mashallah, may it continue. May Allah add barakah in everything that they are doing and everything you guys are doing. Now, I know, Bilal, you've got to go. But quickly, I want to say, how can people support you for the 24-hour challenge, and what do they need to do? What do you want them to do?
We'll be sharing the fundraising links over the next few days. So, I'll be bombarding people with WhatsApp messages, and so with the other 9. It'll be on Inspire FM, so you all know about it. The normal stuff. It'll be everywhere.
And you're part of something special, aren't you, on the Ramadan output on Inspire FM, because you're sharing a recipe.
I am,
recipes, right?
Oh God, I've got to do the second one. So I'm sharing one, my secret recipe. I can't believe I'm giving it to you, Shamiza. But it's now out there in the public. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you. But do I tell you about it now or not?
Well, folks, what we're going to be doing is we've got some special Ramadan recipes and reflections that we're going to be sharing on all our social media platforms across the radio and on our YouTube channel as well. And brother Bilal is sharing an exclusive. He's also going to be sharing, he's baking something. He's baking a date cheesecake. Wow. It's actually it looks really, really yummy. So you need to check out that recipe. It is his family favorite, and for his friends have also noted it's fabulous. So that's something he's going to be doing. Thank you so much, Bilal, for everything that you do. May Allah make it easy on all the brothers, and may it be a success. We will be following it via Inspire FM and inshallah streaming it so we can all support, and we'll be sharing all your links as well. Jazakallah khair. That is Bilal Hussain, who always an absolute treat on the Urban Cube show, sharing the wonderful challenges that he does. And it's a 24-hour sleep out challenge in St. George's Square on Friday the 7th to 8th of March. He is joined by 10 phenomenal brothers, or even more, to do this challenge to raise much needed funds for Luton Food Bank and also raise awareness of the issue of homelessness, unfortunately, that is on the rise, not just across Luton but across the country too. In the studio with me, I'm joined by no other than the wonderful sister Sadia Hussain, who is a volunteer at Friends of Bright Eyes, and she's talking to us about Deen Ability and this wonderful Ramadan sensory event that happened on Saturday. Sister, thank you so much for joining us. You've had quite a busy weekend, and it's such a treat to have you sharing that with us. And I absolutely love hearing about the work by Deen Ability and Friends of Bright Eyes. Sister, how have you got involved as a volunteer? Because you spoke about one of your children having sensory issues. So was that the reason you became a volunteer?
Yeah. So, I mean, my journey, when I started this, so it all starts, I think the biggest support for any SEND parent is another SEND parent. Literally, I would have been at home trying to work out things for myself. And I met a wonderful sister who then introduced me to a whole group of SEND mums. And then, we're talking and saying, how can we make a difference? And it all comes from that. So the wonderful sisters that I'd come across, they are so creative. So I said to them, look, well, my own background, prior to being a carer now, I was in the events industry for 10 years. So for me, I said, okay, well, let me know how I can, help, coordinate anything or put together ideas. So we kind of just share things, we have our group who we share around ideas, and we think about the topic, and really everyone goes out of their way to think about all abilities. I mean, that's the thing that I love the most. I mean, the event covered, from the child who would be high functioning but has sensory difficulties. So there was like sort of craft-based activities, centered around, all the different aspects. So it'd be like zakat, it would be like the itikaf. We had like a lovely corner from there. So anyone needing a sort of a quieter space, like I said to you, literally from one end of the spectrum to the other, there was something there for everybody.
I love how inclusive it is. Nobody is missed out. And I want to ask you, is there going to be another event like that happening?
we'll always have something
Fantastic.
rolling. For us, I mean, the main thing is even anything we've done in the past. So I recommend everybody go to Deen Ability's Instagram page. You'll see like the different resources that we've made in the past, and we've got our email address on there. People can email us and we'll happily send sort of the digital copy out, so they can so if they didn't make it to the event or things that we've done in the past, they can actually access those resources, because that's what it's there for. It's not a one-off thing. Our idea is that you could be sat anywhere. So once we did this in Luton, but if you're anywhere in the country and you've picked up what we've said on the show today, please get in touch with us. We want to be able to help as many families as possible.
And that's absolutely wonderful. I love the title of the organisation, Deen Ability, that we should, everybody has the ability in faith, mashallah, to connect. Folks, I'm joined by no other than Sadia Hussain, who is a volunteer with Deen Ability, and she's talking to us today about this wonderful sensory event, and that was formed specifically in Ramadan for children with special educational needs. The time is 10:46. Sister Sadia will join us all the way to the end of the show. If you've got any questions regarding this event or anything to do with Deen Ability, please message us on 07779481822. Sister, Ramadan a week away. How are your preparations getting on?
To be honest, my family, we've taken a more simplified approach in these last 16 months. I think you just look at what's happening around you and you think how blessed we are for the things that we have. So for us, we've really sort of scaled back, on things that, we might feel that are extravagant, and, really try and take more from the month, as in terms of like this in the spiritual sense, and thinking about what we can do to create positive impact, and maybe even look at something that will create like a lasting legacy. For us, we're sort of thinking, we're trying to delve in deeper in thinking that if Allah gives us that blessing, that we reach it, Allah grant us a Ramadan, like if we get there, what do we want to do to maximize out of it? So like my mom's like, look, please, we do cooking all the time. This is every single moment is full with blessing. Grab your spots and, do whatever you think is meaningful, and that, that will gather your reward. So that's kind of the philosophy in our household. So we were like, okay, let's outsource the samosas. Let's outsource, it's like we can have a bit of the perks, but like, we've not made it essential. We've actually let's simplify our meals. Let's, not go overboard where we, somebody needs to roll us off the couch after the meal, so you can't actually stand up for prayer afterwards. So that's really the kind of line of thinking. I think, like I said, it's been a shift change when we look at the faith of people around the world who have had much affliction and hardship. Really, for us, we're sitting in the comforts of our home. We can definitely do much, much more than what we're doing right now.
Indeed. I like the fact that you said simplify things. Yeah. That's a really good word. Yeah. And that's what we're hoping that we, across Inspire FM, we're hoping to provide some budget recipes for families for iftar and sahur. So I hope you get to look out for that. There'll be some Ramadan recipe cards, and there'll be some footage as well. And Brilliant. You get to also see Brother Bilal's famous date cheesecake. Now, on talking about food, because it's Ramadan, do you have any favorite recipes or favorite foods or memories of food?
So I like to link chaat with Ramadan. We'll make different types, so like and we try to sort of like rotate it. My mum's chaat is like famous to the degree, I won't name which venue, but like we were going for a tasting for an event that we were holding, and they were like, my mom's like, this is not right. And they're like, okay, auntie, can you tell us? And she's like, all right, spelling out the recipe. They're like, this is great. We're going to give this to our head chef. And they actually got so many weddings and events off the back of that recipe. And that chef left. And then they had to call us years later and say, look, sister, if you don't mind, that famous recipe of yours has gone off wandering. Can you please get us to have it again? So yeah, a chaat is a staple in our family table. So it's a simple dish, but like it just has so much flavor, and I don't know, it's like it gives me memories of going to Pakistan and going to Kashmir, like you know, that is a dish wherever you see like a street food stall, or, you know, you go into a cafe or a restaurant, you know, that's the first thing I'm kind of eyeing up the menu for. So yeah.
I love
favorite
jart
food, yeah.
as well. I do like jart. There's something quite, I like the quite eclectic flavors of the sweet and the sour and the tangy, and it's quite
It's like a festival of flavors,
definitely
isn't it?
bursting in the mouth. Oh gosh, I need to have a plate of your mum's jart. Do you think you might want to share that on Inspire
But we
FM?
might put a venue in trouble here, not so far away.
Yes, there is that. So that's a favorite memory. What about now? You know, the foods that our families or our mothers cooked, like for sahur. What was the traditional food then, and what do you do now?
So in our family, we've tried to make sure like everybody has what they want, really. So it's not a set meal. So it's to get what sits right with everybody. So that's what's happened. I think before it is like what mum makes and everyone sits down. But now it's like, I think we're in a time and an age where everyone's like, this is what I can have first thing in the morning. This is what I can't. I mean, like you'll have somebody who will say, you know, I can't lift my head until I have a cup of coffee, you know, or whatever their caffeine fix is, to say, you know, to ward off the headaches during the day. So everyone's different. But for us, yeah, it's a case of, I mean, for my household, it's like, I try to keep it really simple because I don't want to wake my eldest when I'm having suhoor. So I try to have like sort of pre-packed things that are cold. Because, you know, getting up and having got a warm meal at that time of morning would cause disruption in my household.
Wow.
So I have to sort of tiptoe around the house at that time. But, you know, with my parents, oh, mashallah, they'll get up, they'll make the whole sort of traditional foods and the roti, anything, you know, the parathe and things like that. They'll still have their tea and their paratha in the morning. So, yeah.
That's a habit that's not going to go, is it? You know, I think we went through a couple of years of trying to educate communities, stay off the samosas, stay off the pakore. And I think we're back to them again.
Yeah, this is it.
I don't know what it is about those, but there are always healthy options. And as a mother, how are you I know we spoke about simplifying everything, but your actual preparations for it, do you have any the question is, how organized are you?
So we work on sort of a batch cooking system because the boys need a lot of care. And for that reason, it's like, if I was to do the cooking in their presence, it would make it very, very difficult, like to manage both things. So it's a case of having what they need. Also, I mean, I'll go along with whatever. I'm quite easygoing in that sense. So that's what I say. If I simplify it, I know I'm meeting I prioritize their needs, you know, over what else that needs to be done.
Of course.
So for me, if I cook at a different time, I've got it batch cooked, and then, you know, they've got what they need, and I've done. It's like, if you haven't got the stamina, do an online shop. It's things like that.
Yep,
I mean,
good advice.
Save your time and energies for, you know, the important things. You know, to be able to sit down and reflect, to be able to, I mean, there's different things that you can be doing in Ramadan, and for me, like if I could sit down with the English translation of the Quran for 5 minutes, that's a win. You know, or if I can, you know, sit down and watch a lecture from one of the courses that I've purchased, that's a win. You know, these are the kind of things that I'm looking at, and I just think to myself, any one step that takes you in a direction of what you want to do. No one's saying, oh, you're going to meet, like, you know, get to a finish line or, you know, have a trophy and a cup at the end of it. No, it's a case of, as long as you keep moving forward, that is the idea of Ramadan, is a continual improvement. We set ourselves such high bars. I think if we actually think any change is a good change, you know, in the right direction, I think that's what, I think we set ourselves up, like, you know, for something like, and then we try it for a day and then it's all gone. No, rather than that, I think you're just small and consistent. That's what the sunnah is, you know, to do small things, but do them consistently. So if you aim to yourself, in Ramadan, I'm going to do X amount of things, and it's manageable. You've got it in 5-10 minute bursts. You know, that's achievable. So that's the routine. That's what we're working towards, I hope.
And that's very inspiring. Thank you for reminding us of that beautiful sunnah of simplicity and taking small steps. Because if we're told that, if it's like we don't give ourselves permission.
Yes.
Because there seems to be a lot of maybe on social media, we're absorbing and seeing people's achievements, and then we're comparing, and that's a sad thing when we shouldn't have that. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Absolutely. It's in everyone's journey and relationship with our creator is an individual one. And we have to look at it in that sense. Everyone's going to go at their own pace. There will be people who, mashallah, will finish the Quran in Ramadan, and they've got the capability that they very well should be. But I mean, for everybody else who's working at a different place, I mean, I'm like relearning, like tajweed and like recitation, like in the proper sense. So for me, I'm not going to go at that pace as everybody else. So I'm not going to pretend to be something that I'm not. I'm like, okay, this is the pace that I'm working at. But equally at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to just have to recite. I want to actually understand. I want to connect. I want it to be meaningful. And I'd rather go slower to achieve that. I mean, so I do Arabic class at 1 a.m. in the morning. It just is easy at that time. There's no disturbance. I mean, for me, it makes sense. You do it so that you understand, and that when you recite something, it hits somewhere, you know.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sister Sadia, for joining us today. It's the end of the show, and it's such a pleasure to be in your company this morning.
Thank you.
And that's the end of the show.
Coming up next, Awaz-e-Haq with Hafiz Ijaz.